The problem of a top 10 is that there isn't enough room for all. It is nice to see which ones are the 10 most voted motorcycles. But it will always be unfair for some other great builds. And this video is going to clarify everything. This is why a top 30 always sounds so right. A fair tribute to the 30 best motorcycles of 2016. Welcome to Racer TV. So, before you ask yourself what the negative red number means, here is the explanation. Basically, it is the number of votes that were not considered on the election. Unlike other years, some of the builders in this top 30 decided to appeal to their friends on Facebook to vote on their motorcycles. The problem arose when some of the candidates had hundreds of votes in just 1 or 2 days. I understand that some builders want the best success for their work. But the main intention of this election is to explore the real taste of most cafe racer enthusiasts, and not to discover who is the builder with more supporters on Facebook. So, to keep everything in a fair and honest way, I decided to exclude the votes from the country corresponding to each builder. Otherwise, the final results would be very different. But I will show you everything at the end of this presentation. As you may understand, this top 30 is not going to please everyone. After all, every single country has a particular taste about a cafe racer motorcycle. Some prefer the small ones, and others, the big ones. Just like in previous years, the voting was closely fought. The difference between some motorcycles is only a few votes. And in some cases, it is identical. But to avoid ties, the total number of views on each video had to be considered. This election took place with more than 6,000 votes, coming from 92 countries. Almost 50% more than last year. Another interesting fact, which was criticized by some, is having 7 Hondas among the top 10. I recognize that it sounds strange, especially knowing that there were only 10 Hondas among the 30 candidates. But I think this happened because it is also the most popular brand among all enthusiasts. In other words, I believe that this popularity has always a big influence in this election. And this leads us to one conclusion. The ranking of all these beautiful machines does not directly match their quality. This is why we find some extraordinary builds with less votes than some simple projects. It is also interesting to know the difference of tastes between the voting on YouTube and at the Cafe Racer Facebook page. I will leave a link below on the video description. But now, I will leave you alone for a moment to enjoy the rest of this top 30. And now is the time to talk about the winner. It is probably the less cafe racer of all these 30 projects. There is no rear cowl on the seat. The tires are not the most suitable for cornering. Even the general stance has much more to do with the bother. But in the end, it is definitely the most impressive transformation of all. And this became very clear when I checked the votes on 40 countries. 33 of these countries decided to include this Honda in their own top 10. And in 15 of these countries, it achieved the first place. There is no doubt that this CX500 is definitely the absolute winner of this election. And here is the list with the total number of votes for each motorcycle. As you already noticed, this would be the final ranking if the Facebook votes from the builders' fans were considered. I cannot end this top 30 without showing some beautiful projects, which for technical reasons, had to be out of the election. Some of them were excluded, for not being close enough to the cafe racer's stance. And others, for having a very low number of visualizations on their main videos. Thank you for watching Racer TV. And as always, I hope to see you next week. I also recommend to you, take a look at the top 10 list by country. The lists are sorted alphabetically,